On a night when the moon shone like a silver lantern over the quiet kingdom, Baby Hazel lay tucked into her warm bed, clutching her favorite teddy bear. The curtains fluttered gently as a cool breeze whispered through the open window. "Grandma," Hazel murmured sleepily, "will you tell me a story about princesses tonight?" Her grandmother smiled and sat beside her, brushing a strand of hair from Hazel's forehead. "Tonight, I will tell you a special story," she said softly. "A story where three beautiful princesses met in one magical night." Hazel's eyes widened with wonder. Far beyond Hazel's room, beyond forests that hummed with crickets and rivers that glittered under starlight, stood a hidden valley where dreams sometimes came alive. In that valley, three paths met at an ancient oak tree whose branches touched the clouds. Snow White walked along one of those paths, her dark hair shining like polished ebony, her skin glowing softly in the moonlight. She had left her castle for a moment of quiet, for even princesses sometimes long to breathe freely beneath the open sky. As she walked, she hummed a gentle tune that made the birds stir in their nests. Not far away, Rapunzel leaned out of the window of her tall tower. The night air brushed her long golden hair, which flowed down the tower like a ribbon of sunlight. "Oh, how I wish I could walk under the stars tonight," she whispered. As if the stars had heard her, a soft glow appeared near her window. A small white dove fluttered in, carrying a tiny silver bell tied to its leg. When Rapunzel touched the bell, the tower door slowly opened on its own. Her heart beat with excitement and a little fear. "Maybe broken bar just for a little while," she said, stepping outside for the first time in many nights. Meanwhile, in a peaceful garden near a glowing palace, Cinderella slipped off her glass slippers and sat beside a fountain. The royal ball was over, and though her heart was full of joy, she felt something else too, a quiet curiosity about the world beyond grand halls and dancing lights. "I wonder what lies beyond the palace gates tonight," she said to herself. Drawn by a gentle call she could not explain, Cinderella followed a winding path that led her into the soft, moonlit forest. The three paths slowly led Snow White, Rapunzel, and Cinderella toward the ancient oak tree. When they arrived, they paused, surprised to see one another. For a moment, they simply stared, as if the world had placed a mirror before them. The three princesses, each carrying her own story, her own hopes, her own scars. Snow White smiled first. "Hello, I'm Snow White. It seems the night has brought us together." Rapunzel held her long hair close and smiled shyly. "I'm Rapunzel. I've never traveled this far before." Cinderella curtsied gently. "And I am Cinderella." Perhaps this meeting is not an accident. Before any of them could say more, the ground beneath the oak tree began to glow. The air shimmered, and a soft voice rose from the roots of the tree. "Three hearts, kind and brave, have been called here," the voice whispered. "A child in the human world needs a dream to carry her into sleep. Will you give her that gift?" The princesses looked at one another, understanding blooming in their eyes. "A child?" Snow White asked gently. "Yes," the voice replied. "Her name is Hazel." In Hazel's room, the little girl shifted under her blanket, her breath slow and soft. The room filled with a faint golden glow, as if starlight had slipped through the window. The three princesses felt themselves being lifted, carried by a warm, invisible wind. In the blink of an eye, they found themselves standing within Hazel's dream. The room was still her room, but it shimmered with magical walls painted with floating stars, the floor glowing like a calm lake. Hazel sat up in her dream, rubbing her eyes. "Are you a broken bar real?" she whispered. Snow White knelt beside her. "Real enough to share a story with you," she said kindly. Rapunzel let a soft laugh escape. "And to remind you that even when you feel alone, hope can open doors." Cinderella reached out and placed a gentle hand on Hazel's shoulder. "And that kindness can change your world in ways you cannot imagine." Hazel's eyes sparkled. "Will you tell me your stories?" Snow White began first, speaking of how she had once been afraid, hiding in the forest, but had learned that true courage meant trusting her own heart. Rapunzel spoke of long days in a tower and the bravery it took to step into the unknown. Cinderella spoke of quiet tears and patient hope, and how even the smallest kindness could bloom into a miracle. As they spoke, Hazel's room transformed into a moving painting of forests, towers, castles, and glowing gardens drifted around her like gentle clouds. Hazel felt warm and safe, wrapped in their words. "But what if I'm scared of the dark?" Hazel asked softly. Snow White smiled. "The dark is only the night holding space for light," Rapunzel added, "and every star is a small reminder that you are never alone." Cinderella whispered, "And even when things feel hard, your heart is stronger than you know." Slowly, Hazel's eyelids grew heavy. The princesses watched as her breathing softened, her grip on the teddy bear loosening in peaceful sleep. The glowing dream room faded, and the three princesses found themselves once more beneath the ancient oak tree. The night breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying a feeling of gentle peace. "Do you think she will remember us?" Rapunzel asked quietly. Snow White smiled. "Perhaps not with her mind, but her heart will remember how she felt." Cinderella looked up at the stars, "And that feeling will guide her when she needs courage." The ancient oak tree glowed once more, and the soft voice returned. "Thank you, kind hearts. You have given a child a peaceful night and a brave tomorrow." The paths appeared again, leading each princess back to her world. They exchanged warm smiles, knowing that even if they never met again, this night had woven their stories together in a gentle thread of magic. In Hazel's room, the moonlight settled quietly on her pillow. Her grandmother watched her sleeping face and smiled. "Sleep well, my little one," she whispered. "May your dreams always be kind." And as the night trapped the world in silence, three distant princesses looked up at the same moon, carrying the quiet joy of having given a child a beautiful dream.